Pavane is directed by Lee Jong-pil and is based on the novel Pavane for a Dead Princess by author Park Min Gyu. Lee reunites with his Hamjin English class actor Ko Ah-sung to bring a romantic film about an unlikely relationship between a tall, handsome man and an ugly duckling. Moon Sang-min plays Kyung-nok, the main lead, a young man whose actor father abandoned him and his mother when he was a child. He meets up with Mi-jung, played by Ko Ah-sung, a woman described as being exceptionally unattractive. Byun Yo-han plays Yo-han, their mutual friend who helps them come together. He's a witty and insightful character, but you can tell he also carries issues behind his carefree demeanor. The three each have their own emotional trauma that has shaped who they are, but they find comfort and companionship in one another, and that really does sum up the main idea of this movie. How did I find it? My reaction to it is a bit complicated. This is a book adaptation, and normally I don't have an issue reacting to the movie as is, but for some reason this one was a bit harder. There are lines of dialogue such as love is an imagination that is directly lifted from the book that it kept sending me into a book versus movie mode. So whenever the film diverged from the book, it did stand out even more. Taking this purely as a movie, I think it is a pleasant watch, but as someone who also read the book, I couldn't help but feel some level of disappointment. But starting with the film itself, first of all, to state the obvious, Ko Ah-sung isn't ugly, but her makeup, wardrobe, and her timid personality convinces you that she hasn't been shown affection by any of her peers all her life. The movie tries to show that everyone deserves to be loved, that even those we deem as ugly will be transformed when love and attention is shown to them. I liked how this was demonstrated through a light bulb literally brightening up Mi-jung's world in the initial meet cute moment. When Kyung-nok and Mi-jung first meet up, he's the one that lights up Mi-jung, like he's constantly activating the motion sensor to give light to Mi-jung's world. And what's interesting is that initially the sensor doesn't respond to Mi-jung's movements, leaving her in this perpetual darkness. But later, as their relationship starts to blossom, the light does start to react to Mi-jung on her own, but again starts to flicker whenever their relationship meets a rough patch. And I thought this was very well done. The brightening of each other's lives also occurs between Kyung-nok and Yo-han, giving Yo-han someone to latch on to and be a friend slash big brother of sorts. Byun Yo-han does a good job portraying someone that acts with confidence and self-assurance, but there's a certain sadness lingering behind the eyes. The bar the trio hang out at is called Kentucky Hof. In Korean, Hof is pronounced Hopu. It should be spelled as H-O-F, but in the film it's spelled out as Hope. And they're there to drink beer. There was a time in Korea when these sort of English mishaps were much more common, especially before translation apps. Back then, I used to shake my head and wonder why they couldn't just get someone to proofread it, but now I look back on those times with a certain level of fondness. There's something endearing about those Konglish signs, and it fits really well with the period in the movie when the three are in their happy days. Like even as we're watching it live, it feels like we're reminiscing about the good old days as it is unfolding. Later on in the movie, the neon hope sign is broken, so the P is shut off, and the E has transformed into an F, giving the proper Hof spelling. And that's how it is in Korea these days. A lot of franchises are replacing independent shops, so there's a corporate sheen on a lot of stores, and subsequently less Konglish restaurant signage. In doing so, it's removed a certain character from a lot of the streets. The proper Hof spelling is when the three characters have gone their separate ways in the movie, and they never reunite in that form. It's a subtle but great parallel to show how things have changed and we cannot go back to the way things were. I, for one, wouldn't mind seeing more awkward, nonsensical English around Korea. Lee Jong-pil has some really pretty shots in this movie. So looks very good here, and there are a few shots that would look amazing as standalone photographs. The book is set in the 80s, but the movie takes place in present day. But if it wasn't for the occasional smartphone you'd see, you wouldn't be able to pin this down to a certain time period. Like Lee has chosen neighborhoods that have a timeless classic quality to it, and it's able to replicate a lot of the texture from the book. As an adaptation, a movie can't and shouldn't try to cover everything in the source material. Like a book simply has way more room to stretch out and dive into ideas. But I did find the luxury girls to be an unnecessary plot point in the film. And I thought that time could be better invested into deeper character explorations that's available in the novel. Yo-han lost out the most in this aspect. In the book, he's the stand-in for the author and has the most to say about society, love, and what living a happy life is all about. And then there is Bijong. Her letter to Kyungnok is a large monologue that really dives into her childhood. Like, there's so much more about her experiences and reasoning on why she felt she had to leave. And there's also a tragic line in the book that I wish had made it into the movie. It's Bijong describing her life. She says, as a girl, if your shadow is prettier than the self, the girl has no choice but to live as a shadow. Look, there are a lot of great lines of dialogue in Pavane, but the best lines do come straight out of the book. If you are a Korean speaker, I do want to recommend the novel to you. Park Min Gyu has a great way of writing Korean prose that I found myself highlighting a lot of the passages. He has a way with words that are very delicate, but still vivid and filled with really great imagery. The reaction I had from Park Min Gyu's writing reminded me of how I felt when I'm reading a Ocean Vuong novel. Both have an ability to elevate emotions through their awesome poetic prose. To wrap, Pavane is a gentle, sincere, and visually pleasant movie to watch. The main ideas from the book, that everyone deserves love, and the feeling of nostalgia is well represented. But it did trim away some of the deeper philosophical ideas from the book, so the social commentary is softened and the character examinations didn't get the same breathing room that I would have liked to see. Watch it if you're looking for a tender romantic movie with solid performances. It is currently available on Netflix. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.